The silent preparation. In the depths of space, far beyond the reach of Earth's eyes, an ancient war was brewing. The alien empire, a coalition of species who had conquered hundreds of worlds, felt invincible. They had the most advanced ships, weapons, and technology in the galaxy. For centuries, they had controlled vast stretches of space, crushing anyone who dared to challenge them. Among the aliens, there was a common belief: humans were weak. Earth's technology was old, outdated, and ineffective. They were stuck in the past, using outdated weapons like tanks and planes. No one in the galaxy took humanity seriously. The thought of human ships engaging in real space battles was laughable. Yet behind this assumption lay a secret so powerful, so dangerous, that even the alien empire feared its discovery. Deep under the surface of Earth, in a hidden facility, an incredible event was unfolding. The Earth's military had been preparing for a day like this, one that no one in the galaxy would expect. For centuries, humanity had silently constructed a fleet, far beyond the knowledge of the alien invaders. The fleet wasn't made up of advanced spacefaring vessels, but rather old, powerful machines. Tanks, fighter jets, battleships, and submarines. These machines had been untouched by time, preserved in secret vaults, waiting for the moment they would be called to action. In the facility, human engineers and military commanders were hard at work, activating the weapons they had kept hidden for so long. There were no high-tech laser cannons or plasma shields here. Instead, the fleet was powered by the weapons that had once made Earth a dominant force during its earlier wars, weaponry that relied on human ingenuity, brute force, and most importantly, surprise. The humans had been waiting for this moment. They knew that the alien empire had underestimated them. They had watched the alien fleet grow stronger, more confident, and more arrogant. And now, the time had come to show the galaxy that they had made a terrible mistake. Captain Ilias Donovan, the leader of Earth's newly awakened fleet, stood at the command center, watching as the last of the weapons systems were checked. The room was filled with a tense silence as the final systems hummed to life. A holographic map of the galaxy blinked in front of him, showing the positions of the alien ships that were on their way to Earth. They were coming in fast, and they would be there in hours. "Ready the fleet, Captain," a voice called from behind him. It was General Miriam Klein, a seasoned strategist who had seen countless battles throughout her career. Her eyes were sharp, her voice calm, but there was a glint of excitement in her gaze. Donovan nodded. "The fleet is ready, General. We've got a surprise waiting for them. Let's make sure they regret underestimating us," Klein said with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. She knew what was at stake. This was more than just a battle. It was a fight for humanity's survival. As the countdown to launch began, Earth's fleet began to mobilize. The old-fashioned tanks, once the pride of human armies, were now rolling out of their hidden bunkers. They were massive machines, their armored plates glistening in the dim light of the underground chambers. They had been modified with advanced technology, but their core design was still the same as it had been decades ago. They were slow, powerful, and deadly. Above them, the fighter jets and bombers began to ascend from hidden hangars beneath the surface. The pilots, dressed in their vintage flight suits, climbed into the cockpits, their hands steady as they performed final checks. These were the same jets that had once flown in wars long past, but now they were armed with modern ammunition and advanced targeting systems that would make them a force to be reckoned with. On the surface, the massive battleships, some once used in naval combat, rose from the oceans, their cannons aimed toward the sky. They were not the sleek, fast ships of the alien fleets. Instead, they were bulky, with thick armor and powerful engines that could push through anything in their path. They weren't built for speed. They were built for survival. Donovan looked out over the launch bay as his fleet prepared for battle. It was a sight he would never forget. The fleet was not flashy or sleek like the alien ships, but it was powerful, and it was ready to fight. Earth's fleet might not have had the most advanced technology, but it had something that the alien forces lacked: the element of surprise. For years, humanity had been working in secret, preparing for the moment when they would have to face the most powerful empire the galaxy had ever known. And now that time had come. The alien empire would soon realize that humanity's old-fashioned weapons were not only a match for their advanced technology, they were the key to winning the war. The countdown clock ticked down to 0. "Launch the fleet," Donovan said, his voice steady as he gave the command. As the first wave of ships ascended into space, the galaxy remained unaware of what was coming. The alien empire was too confident, too arrogant. They believed that their advanced technology would protect them from any threat, including humanity. But they were wrong. The silent preparation was over. Now, the battle for the galaxy was about to begin. The first encounter. The moment of truth had arrived. Humanity's fleet, a force of vintage yet modified machines, rose from the depths of Earth's secret facilities, their engines roaring as they pierced the atmosphere. The roar echoed across the vast emptiness of space, filling the dark expanse with a sense of power and resolve. The aliens had no idea what was coming for them. The alien fleet, massive and intimidating, was hurtling towards Earth. They had been confident in their victory. The commander of the alien armada, General Zarnak, had led countless campaigns across the galaxy. He had seen worlds fall to the might of his fleet. He had seen civilizations crumble under his orders. But Earth was different. The human race had always been seen as weak, a relic of an earlier time. And this was exactly what made the humans so dangerous. No one expected them to fight back. As Earth's fleet gathered in orbit, Donovan and his crew watched the alien ships on their monitors. There was a sudden, eerie silence in the command center. Captain Donovan's fingers hovered over the controls, his heart racing. His eyes never left the screen that displayed the alien fleet approaching Earth. "They're coming in fast," one of the officers said. "At this speed, they'll reach our position in minutes." General Klein, standing beside Donovan, gave a quiet nod. "It's time," she said, her voice steady but tinged with anticipation. "Prepare the fleet." Donovan took a deep breath and turned to face his crew. "Remember, we're not here to make a statement. We're here to win. The aliens think they know us, but they have no idea what we're capable of. Keep your cool and trust in the fleet. We've trained for this moment. We've waited for this moment. Now let's show them what Earth can do." He turned back to the main console and gave the order. "Initiate the attack sequence." The calm, confident tone of his voice belied the tension in the air. As the command was given, the fleet sprang into action. The first wave of Earth's fleet consisted of the powerful battleships, each one massive and heavily armored. They slowly positioned themselves between the Earth and the oncoming alien ships. Their cannons, though slow and less precise than the aliens' advanced weapons, were massive and capable of unleashing devastating firepower. They may not be fast, but they could take hits and dish out destruction in return. At the same time, the fighter jets and bombers began to ascend, darting through space with a surprising level of speed and agility. Their outdated designs, once considered obsolete, were now enhanced with Earth's latest tech. The jets had laser-guided missiles and advanced targeting systems. They may not have the firepower of the alien ships, but they had something far more valuable: unpredictability. The pilots, experts in their craft, knew how to move quickly, strike hard, and avoid being shot down. The first shot was fired. A massive blast from one of Earth's battleships rocketed toward an alien vessel, striking it with a force that shook the vastness of space. The alien ship shuddered, smoke billowing from its sides. General Zarnak's eyes widened in disbelief as the damage spread across his flagship. "Return fire," he bellowed, his voice thick with anger and confusion. "How is this possible?" The alien fleet opened fire, their advanced weapons sending laser beams streaking through space. But the humans were ready. The battleship's heavy armor absorbed most of the laser fire, while the fighter jets evaded the blasts with surprising agility. Despite their outdated designs, Earth's fleet was holding its ground. For the aliens, the situation was quickly turning disastrous. Zarnak watched in disbelief as his ships began to lose shields and take hits. His fleet was trained for quick, powerful strikes, overwhelming weaker forces with sheer force. But these humans, these old-fashioned ships, these outdated weapons were proving far more resilient than he could have ever imagined. Donovan watched as the alien ships struggled to adapt. They had never faced anything like this. They had never expected humans to fight back with such force, with such desperation. And every time one of Earth's ships fired a shot or avoided an attack, the aliens' confidence began to crack. "Captain, the alien ships are regrouping. They're moving in for another strike," an officer called out. Donovan's eyes narrowed. He wasn't surprised. This battle was only just beginning. The aliens had underestimated Earth's fleet, and they were learning that lesson the hard way. "Don't let up," Donovan ordered. "We've got the element of surprise on our side, but we need to keep up the pressure. Continue the attack." The human fleet responded. The outdated tanks, once used for terrestrial warfare, now hovered in space, firing massive cannons that sent shockwaves through the void. The fighter jets, like angry bees, buzzed around the alien ships, hitting them with precise strikes and drawing their fire away from the larger ships. The battle raged on, but it was clear, despite the superior technology of the alien fleet, humanity was not about to back down. The Galactic Empire had underestimated Earth's power, and now they were paying the price. "General, they're fighting back harder than we thought," one of Zarnak's officers said, his voice quivering. Zarnak slammed his fist onto the console. "Impossible," he shouted. "No one does this. No one can stand against the might of the Galactic Empire." But the humans weren't just standing their ground. They were pushing back. Earth's fleet, with its resilience, power, and unexpected weapons, was proving that even the most ancient tools could be turned into instruments of destruction. And the alien empire was beginning to realize the truth. Humanity wasn't weak. Humanity wasn't a relic. Humanity had something far more dangerous than advanced technology. Humanity had the will to fight, the power of human determination. The battle in space was like nothing General Zarnak had ever experienced. Despite the superior firepower of his fleet, despite the technological might of the Galactic Empire, Earth's fleet was proving far more formidable than anticipated. The ancient weapons that the humans wielded, old tanks, classic fighter jets, and retrofitted spacecraft, were far from the kind of weaponry Zarnak's forces were used to. But there was something else, something intangible, that he couldn't comprehend. It wasn't just the weapons. It was the way the humans fought. There was an intensity to their attacks, a raw determination that left him feeling unsettled. These were not the tactics of a weak, primitive race. These were the tactics of a people who had something to prove. As the battle continued to unfold, Zarnak watched in disbelief as the human ships maneuvered expertly, using their outdated designs in ways that seemed impossible. The humans were not just reacting. They were thinking, adapting, learning. They had an uncanny ability to anticipate every move the aliens made. The outdated tanks, those relics of a forgotten past, rolled across the battlefield in space, firing at alien ships with incredible precision. It was as if these old-fashioned weapons had been waiting for this moment to prove their worth. "Why aren't they retreating?" Zarnak muttered to himself. "Why are they fighting so relentlessly?" His officers, who had been confident in their fleet's ability to crush Earth's forces, were starting to panic. Each time they managed to strike a blow, the humans responded with something even more devastating. Each time they fired their advanced lasers or launched a missile, the humans were quick to return fire. And every time the humans took a hit, they came back swinging harder. The alien commanders were starting to lose their confidence. Back on Earth, Captain Donovan stood in the command center, watching the battle unfold. His fingers drummed nervously on the table, but his face remained calm, steady. He had always known that the humans had a special kind of strength. The universe had underestimated them for too long. The aliens, with their advanced ships and technology, believed that the human race was just a fleeting memory. But Donovan knew the truth. Humanity's strength lay not in the machines they fought with, but in their spirit, their determination. "The battle's turning in our favor, Captain," one of the officers remarked, her voice tinged with disbelief. Donovan nodded, but his gaze never wavered from the screens in front of him. "We've only just begun," he said quietly. "Don't celebrate too soon. The real test is yet to come." As if on cue, a massive alien warship, the pride of Zarnak's fleet, loomed into view. Its enormous size dwarfed the human ships, its shields glowing with power. The sight of it struck fear into the hearts of Donovan's crew, but the captain didn't flinch. This was the moment that would make or break them. The alien ship fired a devastating barrage of lasers, each one aimed at the closest human battleship. The massive vessel shook as the lasers struck its shields. It faltered but didn't fall. It didn't even retreat. The crew of the ship held their positions, returning fire with their heavy artillery. The alien ship took the first hit directly to its hull, a massive explosion shuddering across its surface. "We've got to hit it hard now," Donovan ordered, his voice cutting through the tension in the room. "Focus all fire on that warship. We need to take it down before the rest of their fleet regroups." The human fleet shifted, their ships aligning for a concentrated strike. As the battleships fired again, the power of their ancient weapons became clear. The alien ship's shields flickered and failed under the relentless assault. The crew of the ship had underestimated the strength of Earth's resolve. The overwhelming power of the human spirit was manifesting in each shot, in each decision, in each calculated move. Zarnak watched in horror as the mighty warship began to crack and break apart under the human onslaught. His heart sank. He couldn't understand it. How could they be losing to these primitive beings? "This can't be happening," Zarnak shouted. "We've faced entire civilizations. We've crushed entire planets. How is this possible?" His voice, usually so commanding, now held a hint of panic. His officers exchanged nervous glances, unsure of how to respond. On the battlefield, the human fleet pressed on, refusing to back down. Their ships, once seen as relics, now demonstrated the power of ingenuity and tenacity. Each ship, each crew member, was fighting not just for survival, but for something greater, proof that humanity was not to be underestimated. They had been written off as weak for too long, and now they were showing the galaxy that they were a force to be reckoned with. In the heart of the battle, Captain Donovan remained focused. His mind was clear. He had seen the worst, and he knew how to fight through it. But this was something new. This was something different. The aliens had no idea what they had unleashed by coming to Earth. Donovan's thoughts flickered briefly to Earth, to the people waiting to hear of their victory. This wasn't just about winning a battle. It was about proving to the universe that humanity was not just a relic of the past. It was a rising force in the galaxy. A force that no one could ignore. As the final blow struck Zarnak's flagship, the alien general's voice fell silent. His fleet was falling apart, and the humans were still pressing forward. Victory was no longer a question. It was inevitable. The turning tide. The battlefield was chaos, but amidst the clamor of explosions and the hum of energy shields, there was an undeniable shift. The human fleet, once underestimated by the galaxy's most advanced military forces, now stood as the unexpected juggernaut. The alien ships, once confident in their superior technology, were faltering. Their command center was in disarray, and their once coordinated attacks were now scattered and desperate. Captain Donovan stood at the center of the human fleet's command, his eyes glued to the holographic projections. The image of the alien flagship was slowly flickering, its once impenetrable shield now weakening under the pressure of Earth's relentless assault. "We've got them on the ropes," Donovan murmured, his voice calm but intense. "Keep up the pressure. Don't let up now." Despite the chaos, There was an eerie silence in the room. The crew knew they were witnessing something incredible. The aliens had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt and overcome. Now, they were paying the price for that mistake. The alien fleet, once an unstoppable force, now found itself scrambling. Their warships were falling one by one, some breaking apart as the human fleet relentlessly pummeled them with firepower and precision. Zarnak's flagship, the pride of the alien armada, was already a wreck, its once glorious hull littered with scorched markings from human laser blasts. Zarnak, watching helplessly from his command deck, knew it was over. His fleet was crumbling, and the humans, once considered insignificant, had shown that they were a force unlike any other. His once unwavering confidence began to evaporate. "This is impossible," Zarnak growled, his fists clenched as he glared at the screen. "We are the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. How are they doing this?" The alien generals around him exchanged nervous glances, but no one had an answer. Earth's fleet, armed with weapons they had long thought obsolete, was tearing through them with such ferocity that it almost seemed like a dream, a nightmare from which there was no waking. And then, just as Zarnak's hopes began to dwindle, he noticed something else. It wasn't just the strength of humanity's weapons that was unnerving. It was the humans' sheer resolve. They were not just fighting for victory, they were fighting for survival. This wasn't just a battle for territory or pride. It was a battle for the very existence of their species. Every attack, every maneuver, every tactic was executed with the single-minded focus of a species that had no intention of being wiped out. The general clenched his teeth. He had heard rumors of Earth's resilience, but seeing it firsthand was another matter entirely. Back on Earth, the people watched in awe as their forces continued to push forward. The news reports from around the world were filled with excitement. Humanity was finally proving to the galaxy that they had more to offer than just their technology. They had spirit, they had heart, and now they had momentum. The alien commanders, seeing their ships fall one by one, began to panic. The loss of one ship was bad enough, but the loss of so many in such a short time was a blow that they could not recover from. The command center was alive with frantic calls, but the aliens had no response. It was too late. Back in space, Captain Donovan's voice rang out over the comms, filled with the confidence of someone who knew the fight was all but over. "All units, prepare for the final push. Let's end this." With a sharp series of commands, the human fleet reformed, ready to deal the final blow. The alien ships, now fractured and broken, attempted to regroup, but it was too late. Earth's fleet launched their final assault, an overwhelming barrage of energy blasts, missiles, and targeted strikes aimed directly at the heart of the alien armada. Zarnak's flagship, battered and broken, was the first to fall. It was as if the entire fleet was connected to it, and once it crumpled under the might of humanity's forces, the rest followed suit. Alien warships erupted in a chain of explosions, each blast a confirmation of the humans' triumph. Zarnak, standing alone on his command deck, watched helplessly as his once proud fleet disintegrated. There was nothing left to do now. His empire was no more. "We were wrong," Zarnak muttered, his voice a low whisper of defeat. "We thought we were invincible, but we were wrong." Back on Earth, the celebrations began. People cheered in the streets, waving flags and celebrating the unexpected victory. The victory of the humans was more than just a military triumph. It was a message to the entire galaxy. Humanity had arrived. They had proven their strength, their resilience, and their ability to fight when no one thought they could. It wasn't just their weapons that won the battle. It was their determination, their refusal to back down, no matter how overwhelming the odds seemed. Earth's fleet, built on older, simpler technology, had shown the galaxy that humanity's true power was in its will to survive. For the first time in history, the Galactic Empire was forced to reckon with the hidden strength of the human race. And for General Zarnak, it was the end of an era. His empire, so sure of its supremacy, had crumbled before the might of Earth's unexpected fleet. There would be no going back. The galaxy had learned a powerful lesson that day. Never underestimate humanity. The aftermath. The sound of victory echoed across Earth, but it wasn't a celebration filled with joyous laughter or wild parties. No, this was different. Humanity had won, yes, but the cost of this triumph was not yet fully understood. The battle had been fierce, and the consequences of their actions would reverberate throughout the galaxy. Still, as the final alien ships retreated into the dark void of space, there was an undeniable sense of pride and relief. Earth had stood its ground. The crew aboard Captain Donovan's flagship looked out the viewport, eyes locked on the retreating enemy. The once massive and imposing alien armada, now nothing more than a scattering of wreckage, and fleeing ships seemed small, pathetic even. The battle was over. The threat was neutralized. Or so they thought. Donovan stood at the command center, his hands resting lightly on the console. He had been the one to give the final orders, the one to push them all forward. But now, in the silence of victory, doubts began to creep in. What now? Earth had faced the threat and had triumphed, but the galaxy was vast, and if one empire had underestimated them, what about the others? "We did it," Lieutenant Anna Vargas said, breaking the silence. "We actually did it." Her voice was tinged with disbelief, still processing the enormity of their success. Donovan turned to her, a rare smile appearing on his face. "Yes, but the real work begins now." Far across the galaxy, the alien generals who had survived the battle were coming to grips with their crushing defeat. Zarnak, the once proud leader of the fleet, stood in the command center of what was left of his forces. The wreckage of his flagship had been hauled into the deepest parts of the alien homeworld, hidden from view. His pride was shattered, and with it, his once unwavering belief in the superiority of his people. The room was dark, lit only by the faint glow of control panels. Zarnak's hands were clasped behind his back, his face a mask of deep thought and frustration. His fleet was gone, and the galaxy was no longer his to command. Humanity had defied the odds, defeating his forces with weaponry that should have been obsolete. Old-fashioned, they had called it. A relic of the past. Yet it had been more than enough to crush him. "What do we do now?" one of his generals asked, his voice low and filled with anxiety. "The humans. They've defeated us. They've shown the galaxy they can't be stopped." Zarnak did not answer immediately. His mind was racing, calculating the next moves. The shock of defeat was slowly turning into something else, a burning need for revenge. Humanity may have won this battle, but the war was far from over. "The humans have revealed a strength we underestimated," Zarnak finally said, his voice cold. "But they are not invincible. We will rebuild, and we will strike back. Let the rest of the galaxy see the consequences of defying the Galactic Empire." Back on Earth, the victory celebrations continued for days, with people taking to the streets to cheer, wave flags, and sing songs of triumph. Humanity had proven it could stand against the greatest forces the galaxy had to offer. But amidst the celebrations, there were quieter moments. Moments where the people of Earth realized that this victory was just the beginning. The President of the United States, standing in the Oval Office, watched the newsfeed showing humans celebrating. A small, knowing smile played across her lips. She knew that the battle had been won, but the war, if it could even be called that, was not yet over. Humanity had won the respect of the galaxy, but it had also made enemies, powerful enemies. "Have the fleet commanders checked in?" she asked her aide. "Yes, ma'am," came the reply. "They're preparing for a new round of debriefings and reassessments. They're already analyzing enemy tactics and weaknesses." The president nodded. "Good. We need to be ready for whatever comes next, and we need to make sure the galaxy knows one thing: Earth isn't to be underestimated." In the days following the battle, the human fleet began to rebuild, both technologically and strategically. Earth had learned invaluable lessons from the war. The alien forces may have had superior technology, but humanity had something they hadn't counted on: adaptability, creativity, and the sheer will to survive. Human engineers worked day and night to reverse engineer some of the alien technology they had salvaged, while military strategists studied the battle, identifying weaknesses in both their own forces and the alien fleets. Humanity had fought on the edge of desperation, but now they had the momentum. They weren't just trying to survive anymore. They were preparing to take their place among the stars. Meanwhile, on alien worlds across the galaxy, whispers of Earth's victory began to spread. It wasn't just a defeat for Zarnak's empire. It was a message to the entire galaxy. Humanity had proven it could stand up to the mightiest forces in the universe, and it had done so with weapons others thought were outdated, obsolete. The Galactic Empire, shaken and wounded by its loss, now faced a choice: attempt to crush humanity once and for all, or reconsider their position in the grand cosmic order. Zarnak's defeat had sparked a shift in the galaxy, a shift that would affect the power dynamics in ways no one could yet predict. As the galaxy held its breath, awaiting the next move, humanity stood ready. The next chapter in the story had only just begun. Earth had shown its strength, but the true test would come when the galaxy's greatest powers turned their attention to humanity. The war might have been won, but the real battle for Earth's place in the cosmos was just starting. And in the silence that followed the battle's end, one thing was clear: Earth had earned the right to be feared. The growing threat. The celebration on Earth began to fade as the harsh reality of the situation started to settle in. The galaxy was vast, and Earth was no longer a small, unimportant planet hidden in a far-off corner of space. Humanity had shown that they could stand toe-to-toe with the most advanced empires in the universe, but their victory had stirred something much darker: a growing wave of fear and anger from the other galactic powers. On the homeworlds of the alien empires, the repercussions of the defeat weighed heavily. The shockwaves from humanity's unexpected victory had caused a rift in the once unified forces of the galactic rulers. There were whispers among the high-ranking alien officials. An unspoken question lingered: how could an empire so primitive outfight and outsmart the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy? They were not just angry, they were frightened. In a shadowy meeting room, the leaders of the remaining alien factions gathered in secret. Their faces were cloaked in darkness, the only light emanating from the holographic projections of their ships and worlds. They had lost one battle, but their pride and fear would drive them to seek revenge. "The humans are not what they appear to be," said Zarnak, still recovering from his humiliation. "They're old-fashioned weapons. There's something more to them. We've underestimated them. We cannot allow this threat to grow. If they are allowed to continue, Earth will become a force that can rival our empires." Across the table, another alien leader spoke up, his voice filled with venom. "What do you suggest, Zarnak? We have already tried brute force, and it failed. Our fleets were crushed by their unexpected power. If we attack again, we may suffer even worse losses." Zarnak leaned forward, his eyes glowing with determination. "We need a different approach. We will not attack head-on again. We will sabotage them from within. They are growing too powerful. We must exploit their weaknesses before they realize how strong they truly are. We'll infiltrate their ranks, spread distrust among them, and weaken them from the inside. Let them believe they have won." Another leader, a tall, reptilian being, added, "And what if we fail again? What if their old-fashioned weapons are enough to defeat us again?" "We will not fail," Zarnak replied coldly. "We will break their will to fight. We have already begun sending agents. We'll make them question everything. And when they turn against each other, we'll strike." The final stand. The day had arrived. Earth's leadership was ready, but there was an undeniable sense of foreboding. The calm before the storm had passed, and now the future of humanity hung in the balance. The President of Earth stood before the United Council, her face resolute but tired, her eyes reflecting the weight of the decisions made over the past weeks. She knew that no matter what happened, the consequences would shape humanity's future forever. At the same time, in secret, the alien factions that had previously been humiliated by Earth's success were gathering their forces. They had learned their lesson. Humanity was not weak. Humanity had proven that old weapons, those considered primitive by galactic standards, could still be deadly when used with intelligence and creativity. "Are we ready?" General Albright asked, his voice unwavering as he looked at the holographic map of the galaxy. His fingers traced the coordinates where the alien forces were rumored to be gathering. It wasn't just one fleet this time. It was several, all converging toward Earth. The galactic powers were sending everything they had. The president gave a firm nod. "We've built our defenses and will stand our ground. We may be outnumbered, but we are not outmatched. Let the galaxy see what humanity can do when pushed to the limit." In the heart of space, a vast fleet of alien warships approached Earth. Their dark, angular hulls reflected the cold emptiness of the cosmos, and their weapons were primed. These were the same enemies that had underestimated Earth once before, and now they had come back, determined to finish what they started. But what they didn't know was that Earth had learned from its past mistakes. Their fleet may have been smaller, but it had been upgraded, reworked, and enhanced. Every ship was a testament to human ingenuity, each armed with a combination of ancient and new technologies. The old ways of warfare, combined with new strategic thinking, had created a force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Commander Jenna Park stood at the front of the Earth Fleet's command center, her eyes sharp as she analyzed the incoming alien ships. She had seen the brutality of the alien forces up close. Their ships were massive, each one designed for sheer destruction. But she knew that humanity had something they didn't, an unyielding will to survive. "All ships are in position," Park announced, her voice steady. "The moment they enter range, we strike." The first wave of alien ships dropped out of hyperspace with a thunderous roar, their weapons already primed. But as soon as they entered Earth's solar system, something unexpected happened. The human fleet didn't cower or falter. Instead, they launched a barrage of missiles and energy blasts, catching the enemy off guard. The alien ships had prepared for a grand battle, expecting humanity to be scrambling, unprepared. But Earth's counterattack was swift and precise, their old-fashioned weapons, now more powerful than ever, slamming into the alien hulls with deadly precision. The first few alien ships exploded in flashes of light, their destruction sending shockwaves throughout the galaxy. "Impossible," one of the alien commanders muttered as he watched the devastation from his command ship. "We underestimated them again." As the battle raged on, more and more alien ships fell. Humanity had proven itself capable of holding its own, and the alien forces, once so confident, were now scrambling to find a way to counter the onslaught. Every moment that passed seemed to chip away at the idea that the galaxy could ever dominate Earth again. But it wasn't just the alien fleets that humanity had to worry about. Deep within the shadows of Earth's own government, the rogue faction led by Dr. Evelyn Sato had been preparing for a strike of their own. They saw the chaos of the battle and believed it was time to act. They had secretly planted agents throughout the military, working to sabotage the defenses from within. Sato and her followers knew that the galaxy couldn't let Earth rise to power unchecked. If they failed to stop humanity now, they feared Earth's growing dominance would threaten everything they held dear. The galaxy had to remain in balance. The old factions, alien and human alike, needed to know their place. But as the rogue faction made their move, they quickly realized that the very system they sought to control had become too powerful to stop. Earth's government had anticipated such an internal threat. A counterinsurgency team had already neutralized the first wave of saboteurs. Dr. Sato's dream of a more balanced galaxy was crumbling, and she found herself on the run. Back in space, the battle was nearing its climax. Earth's fleet had taken heavy hits, but they held their ground. The alien forces, though vast, had underestimated humanity's resilience and their ability to adapt. The old-fashioned weapons, once thought useless, had become the galaxy's deadliest weapon, and humanity was using them to their fullest. General Albright watched from the command center as the last of the alien ships were torn apart by humanity's relentless attack. The alien fleet was in full retreat. The battle was won. On Earth, the leaders watched with a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. It was over. The victory was theirs. But the president knew this would be just the beginning of a new chapter in humanity's story. The galaxy had learned a hard lesson. Never underestimate the power of Earth's old-fashioned weapons. The president looked out the window, her eyes filled with resolve. We've shown the galaxy what we can do. This victory isn't just about us. It's about the future of humanity in the stars. We've earned our place. And with that, humanity's next chapter in the galaxy had begun.